Good morning. Good morning. All right, here we go. This message, Easter and Passover message, finding your heart and soul for anything and everything you want out of your life. Facebook friends, I'm going to be recording this on my Zoom room here, so I may not be looking directly at you because I'm going to be looking at this camera here where it's pointing to the board. But anyway, good morning. Happy Easter. Happy Passover. This is going to be a powerful message. And it's a business message I gave about a week ago. And I thought, wow, what an appropriate Passover message and Easter message, because they're both the same. On this side, you have where we got to get from and go to. We got to pass over from here and get over to here. And this side is the side of scarcity. It's a side of where we always got to be performing, and it's out of our ego, out of our judgments and fear, false education appearing real, competition and grievances. It's all about what we can get out of life. What can I get? It's about doing. It's about our story and language. And it all has to do with the body, ego, and the world. We've got to pass over from this. How do we get on this other side? And you'll see this thermometer here I'm going to talk about in just a second. Well, over here on this side, instead of the performance, is about the person. Let's pass over. It's from the ego to the soul, which is the mind, the will, and the emotions. And then you have this side getting from judgment all to forgiveness. I recommend a movie. If you want to learn forgiveness for the final time in your life, we've all read the books and taken the courses. Watch a movie called The Shack. The Shack will give you once for all a true understanding what forgiveness is all about, how to move from judgment in your life to forgiveness. We all are judgers. We judge the traffic. We judge the weather. We judge the people, what they wear, the length of their hair, the color of their skin. We live in judgment. We judge ourselves on a daily basis in the morning. So how do we move? How do we pass over from this to this? Passover and Easter are so beautiful. Easter is about resurrecting to a new life. Competition and grievances, mainly the grievance with ourselves. How do we get from there to go over to cooperation and grace? What you get, it's all about the doing. And over here on this side, when you pass over, it's all about the why. Why am I here? What's my why in life? And it's before you know it, you're giving, but it's coming back. This side over here is scarcity on the left. This side is over here is abundance. And you wind up getting so much, you have so much more to give when you let go of the getting. This source over here is always the internal. Over here, the source is the external. I don't care what religious leader you want to go to and refer to, whether it's Moses, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Mohammed, they all talk about the same thing, the external versus the internal. This is all about moving from a story that we have, our stories that we collect. And it's more about and our story language that we use. It's all about moving to experiences and stillness. And I'm going to show you how to do this. This is important. This is all about the body and the ego over on this side. This side is all about the soul and the mind. Over here, it's about the world that we live in. A lot of people say, how is life treating you? It's not about how life is treating us. It's about what we are doing with life. Over here, we focus on the world. Over here, we realize we're home, that there is, that we were sent here from love. We're going back to love. We're very comfortable. Over here on this side that we got to pass over from is all about age and sickness. It's about sleeping. I just don't want to get out of bed. That we all got to get our sleep. I judge my day by my Fitbit and how quality of sleep that I got, but not that kind of sleep where we're just like asleep walking around. And this is always about checking out, whether we're checking out by drugs or a different relationship or alcohol or too much food. This side is always about checking out. So how do we move and live our life over here? Over on this side is the thermometer. I tell people your body is an indication of what's going on in your soul. This side over here, the meter, is like the thermometer. Do you want to be a thermometer or do you want to be a thermostat? This side over here is the thermostat. The Passover is about getting from a physical, worldly thermometer to getting over to an eternal thermostat. And what is I want to live over here. So we want to get from the external to the internal. To quote Jesus, he said that the kingdom of God is within. So it's all internal. Let's go up here. This is how we do it. Let's talk about the how. If you notice, the HE is over here on heart. I have a nonprofit called Encouragement Enterprises. The reason I named it that, the word cœur in French means heart. Most of us have had our hearts ripped out one way or the others in our life. Is there any question why only 5% of the people control 95% of the wealth? Because there's only about 5% of the people that haven't had their heart yanked out. Myself, personally, young kid, victim of sexual abuse and very traumatic things going on in the house and all that kind of stuff. We all have had our hearts ripped out one way or the other. If not those experiences, the experience of being bullied, or that abusive father, or that mother who committed emotional incest, or whatever it is, we've had our hearts ripped out. So how do we get that heart back? Because once you get this heart back, you will then start living on the side. You will truly pass over to the other side. You will go from hell to heaven. This is critical. This is the way you do it. First of all, to get out of here, you've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to be honest and say, how do I feel? How do I think? Am I satisfied? Is there something else that I can do? Over here, this is all about empathy. You've got to be empathetic with yourself as well. I thought I understood empathy. I had no earthly idea. I didn't have any idea until I was with a counselor with a child that was having drug issues, and we're talking, and she said, Mr. DeFalco, you just don't understand. You've got to learn empathy. And I dropped, and I said, what? I got to learn empathy? I'm the most empathetic person I know. I had no idea, folks. I had lived my life as a father. I knew nothing about empathy. I was sympathetic. Because when you're abused as a young person, or when you have trauma in your life, you become sympathetic. And that's not what gets you out of this side. You've got to learn empathy for yourself. Over on this, you notice the center of this. This is the A. This is the attitude. It is only our attitude that will get us going. It is our attitude. There's an organization called Attitudinal Healing International. Look that up. My office is Attitudinal Healing International, South Florida. You're going to be hearing a lot more from me on that organization, Attitudinal Healing International. Look it up. Look at the principles. The attitude is the thing that will get us here and move us over here. To live over on this side, you need the reserves, the R in hearts. This is how you get your heart back. First, be honest with yourself. Be empathetic toward yourself. Start working on that attitude. And there's principles in Attitudinal Healing International. Look it up. And then you'll be able to call on your reserves. And then you have to stay tough. I've been through so many hells in my life. So many hells, but I did not find heaven until I went to hell. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting what the Israelites had to go through in the Passover? That they had to be enslaved for 400 years? Wow, isn't that crazy? They had to go to hell in order to reach the promised land. Jesus went to hell in order to bring us heaven on earth, to bring us the kingdom of God that he delivered. So this over here, you've got to learn how to call on your reserves, and you've got to be tough. When you are going through hell, you've got to be tough. So then you'll live over here. So as I said, here's the thing: performance, person, ego, soul. So let me just go down here for a second. What happens over here? We can measure this by money. This is why this was a business presentation. We can remember it by, if you're a salesperson, how many sales you have. Every time you live on the side, I learned as a young sales manager of a sales organization is that people would hit some goals, but the very next year they'd fall back down. They always had these barriers and ceilings, and they could never move up. I see that way with people happiness. I've had it in my own relationships. I've had it in my marriage. I've had it in all walks of my life. I try. I read a book. Yes, boom. But not until I really understood I had not passed over from the body, from the ego, from the world. Checking out is over here is the ageless, health, alive, awake. You know how to rest. You check in. You're still. And so what we got to do is forget over here. It's all about the being. It's all about the person, not the performance. Now you may say, well, wait a minute, if I don't perform, I'm not going to earn money. You will perform once you become the right person, because it's all about the giving. You know what your why is. And then you understand that the soul, the mind, will, and emotions, you know how to get this little train going. I know you may not be able to see my little train. I'm not a great artist. But you got to run your train, your life, your soul. You got to keep the mind in control. And then you get your will in line. And then the emotions come as they will. Don't let emotions guide your train. It is a train wreck. That the soul is nothing but the mind, the will, and the emotions. And then these other things over here is the way we live over now. Once you start living like this, and all the emphasis is on the person, this is like I said in the beginning, you become a thermostat. Things aren't going right, you turn up the heat or turn up the AC. Here in Florida, we turn down the AC all the time. So you'll become a thermostat in your life. And this is all about abundance over here. This is all about scarcity. If you're not getting what you want out of life, if your why is not, you're not seeing your why every day growing bigger and bigger, and you know why you're here, then you gotta be honest with yourself and empathy and get your attitude going. Attitudinal Healing International, look it up. So we want to get moving over here. Today, Easter and the Passover celebrations, let's move from here over to here. And I'm going to share a poem with you in just a second. Because this is where the fun is. This is heaven. This is hell. I'd love to be able to help you transition from here to here. Let me go over here because of time. I'm going to move over to my favorite poem. You can't see it on Facebook Live here. And my folks on the other video, that's not going to work. But anyway, let me go over here. Can you see it? I don't think you can. Let's move this. All right. I used to use this all the time with companies when I was consulting. I love this. Well, you're not going to see it. It doesn't look like it. But anyway, I'm going to read it to you. Ready? It says, "Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master." Hold a second. I'm going to turn the light on. 1 second. I had it off because the glare on the board was so much. "Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. That is where you came from and where you'll return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up." Does that sound familiar on the board there? Often messing up. You didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. Folks, that's another subject for another day. Let's pass over from this feeling that we're flawed and realize that because of the Passover, because of the original Passover, and because of what Jesus did today, is that we are perfect. Nothing left. It's done. It's finished. It's over. We are perfected. That's what that whole thing was about. The resurrection was about making every single one of us perfect. You may say, I know a lot of people aren't perfect. No, you don't. They're all perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and then to rise again, the Passover, the resurrection, and then to rise again into remembering. But unconditional love, stop telling that story. Love in truth. This is the emphasis. Love in truth doesn't need any other adjectives. You don't need to put unconditional with the word love. It doesn't require modifiers. It doesn't require a condition of perfection. We are perfect as we are, but it's not a condition. Love is love. It's truth. It only asks that you show up, you do your best, that you stay present, feel fully, that you shine and fly and laugh and cry and hurt and heal and fall and get back up and play and work and live and die as you. It is enough. It's plenty. Anyway, happy Easter and Passover, and I'm going to finish. I like this one. I got to do this one. I did this on the business seminar. I love this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Marianne Williamson. Folks, I don't want to, talk about religion. I believe that that this side of the board is religion. I believe this side of the board is relationship. This is what Passover is all about. This is what resurrection is all about. Happy Easter, happy Passover. If I can ever be of help to you and your family, please let me know. I'm a phone call away. Thank you for letting me share. Happy Easter and happy Passover. Bye-bye.